Dear respected Thai, dear brothers and sisters, dear friends and Sangha, today is the 24th of January, the year 2019, and we are in the full moon meditation hall of the New Hamlet during our winter retreat. Winter has arrived, yes. I think we all agree. There is snow in Paris and in 18 other departments in France and in other countries. We can see the beauties of nature in winter, in all seasons, in fact. The wonders of Mother Earth that she offers us, the beautiful green grass, the delicate snowflakes, the nourishing rain. We've had rain, wind in cold weather here, but that's also wonderful. With our practice of mindfulness, we celebrate life. Every moment of life is precious. And the energy of mindfulness helps us be in touch with ourself, our body and mind, but also in touch with the world around us. The other morning, a sister said to me, "Did you see the bird in the tree?" And what tree, what bird? She pointed in the direction at a distance. And then I saw a noble blackbird sitting alone on the bare branch of a winter tree with the sunrise, the golden light of the sunrise filtering through this beautiful moment. So I thanked her very much for sharing this beauty with me. And I said, "Please write a poem." She writes very well. In winter, the sunrises and sunsets are special. And I enjoy going out and seeing the sunrise and sunset in winter especially. Though all year round we can appreciate the sunrise and sunset. Mindfulness as an energy is always with us. It doesn't leave us. It's a capacity we have that is stored in the depths of our consciousness as a seed, a bija. And we just have to wake it up. We just have to activate it, invite it to be present with us. Mindfulness is with us during all seasons of the year. It helps us be aware of our internal weather, so to speak. What is happening in our mind in terms of our feelings, our thoughts, our emotions, our mental formations. So mindfulness helps us know what is the terrain, the paysage, the landscape of our mind. And that's very helpful. And it's very wonderful to know what's actually happening in us and around us. And this afternoon we will have sharing circles called Dharma sharing. And sometimes we begin the sharing circle by inviting everyone to give an internal weather report, a météo intérieur. So they will say their name, where they're from, and then what is their internal weather. And they may use some images, such as I feel sunny, I feel rainy, maybe sad. I feel happy. I feel cloudy. That means I have some confusion today. I'm not real sure. There's a storm brewing in me. That means, I'm in touch with some strong feelings, anger, etc. So we have an opportunity to connect with our feelings, to know actually what they are. And feelings are very important. They're part of our daily life. We know that babies have feelings. And because they're too young to tell us what their feelings are, they let us know about their feelings. When a baby's happy, we'll see a baby smile, laugh, gurgle, baby sounds. They're happy, they're doing fine. When a baby doesn't have a pleasant feeling, the baby lets us know. They cry. They may be hungry or cold or wet or need more sleep. So from the very beginning of our life, we experienced feelings. We have many relationships, don't we? And relationships usually are formed or begin when there are pleasant feelings, when there are good feelings that are shared mutually. And then relationships can end when the feelings turn to unpleasant feelings. There are bad feelings between us, so if we don't know practices, then a relationship can end. Our relationship with our mindfulness is forever. And that's the good news. As long as we want to practice and cultivate this energy in us, it's always there. No matter what's happening with our daily life relationships. The Buddha gave some wonderful teachings in the Sutra of the Four Foundations of Mindfulness. And this is an important sutra. And Thai has written a book based on this sutra, which contains the sutra, called Transformation and Healing. And the Buddha gave some teachings in this way. He said, the first foundation of our mindfulness is to be aware of our body. Every morning when we wake up, we can be aware of how does my body feel. The second foundation of mindfulness is to be aware of our feelings. Okay, how am I feeling? Third foundation, to be aware of our mind. The thoughts, the objects that we're thinking about. And then the fourth foundation of mindfulness is to be aware of the objects of our mind. And that could be the world around us. Now, feelings are very interesting according to how the Buddha looked at feelings. In modern Western psychology, we use the word feelings and emotions interchangeably, right? We could say, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling peaceful, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling depressed, etc. Buddha didn't have modern Western psychology, but what he created was a practice of being aware of our feelings just in three ways. The Buddha said we have pleasant feelings, then we have unpleasant feelings, and then we have neutral feelings that are neither pleasant nor unpleasant. And for Buddha and his disciples who became arahats, that was enough. To be able to identify what we're experiencing as something pleasant or unpleasant has simplified my practice enormously. Sometimes I've gotten too caught up or tangled up with more advanced practice by trying to name the feeling correctly. Is it irritation? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it discouragement? I spent so much time trying to get the right word to describe my feeling. And I discovered that it wasn't necessary. And that was good news for me. Whenever I'm in touch with a feeling, I can just be aware of a feeling. The feeling may have its origin in my body or something outside, a conversation, seeing something. In other words, the origin may be through the 6 senses, my eyes, my ears, my nose, my tongue, my body, the sense of touch, or my thinking. So when I'm in touch with a feeling, I try to recognize, is it a pleasant feeling or an unpleasant feeling? A neutral feeling is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, but it has the characteristic of being sort of not there. Nothing much is happening when we have a neutral feeling. For example, when I open the mailbox to take out the letters, voila, nothing much is there. I buy a magazine. I give someone directions to the train station. Maybe there's a slight feeling, but it's neither really pleasant nor unpleasant. A neutral feeling can change, however, and become a pleasant feeling or an unpleasant feeling. And I remember once Thai said, neutral feelings can be made into pleasant feelings. They can be transformed into pleasant feelings with mindful breathing. And that is, nothing much is happening, but if I sit down and relax and breathe, I can bring calmness into my body and relaxation, and that is pleasant. So feelings are constantly changing, one into another. There's a constant flux of feeling because we're constantly receiving impressions through our nervous system, through our sense organs, and that is activating feelings. Let us take a moment now to create a pleasant feeling, I hope. We will pause and come back to ourselves and enjoy our breathing in and out, gently, naturally. So then the practice that helps us recognize our feelings is called mere recognition. We simply notice what is there, what the feeling is, without thinking, without adding more to the feeling. Sometimes when we have a pleasant feeling, we begin to think, oh, how can I continue to have this pleasant feeling? Or sometimes when we have an unpleasant feeling, we begin to think, why did this happen? What can I do to stop it? We add thoughts. But to simply recognize a feeling, all we have to do is notice it, breathe with it, and no mental commentary. There is a pleasant feeling here now. There is an unpleasant feeling here now. I made a list of some of the objects which result in a pleasant feeling for me, and I invite everyone to do that this afternoon, this evening, tomorrow, on your day off. Become aware of what gives us a pleasant feeling. I've already mentioned the sunrise and the sunset. Hearing the sound of the waterfall, the birds singing in spring, singing. Soon we will celebrate the Lunar New Year, Tet, and a pleasant feeling is almost guaranteed every day. There's happiness, there's friendship, the delicious taste of the earth cake, other wonderful Vietnamese food. I have pleasant feelings. Seeing the spring flowers, the green grass, the bamboo, feeling the warmth of the sun on my face. Walking with friends, enjoying a cup of tea, sitting down, doing nothing. So these are some of the sources, but not all, of the sources of pleasant feelings. There's one thing I want to share about pleasant feelings is sometimes we want them over and over and over again, and more and more and more, and they can become an addiction. So we call it a sweet internal formation. It's addiction to drugs, to drinking, to smoking, to too much sugar, too much whatever. And because we have the seed of desire in us, okay? So it's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. With our practice of mindfulness, we're aware of pleasant feeling, and whether the seed of desire is present, okay. I'm aware the seed of desire is present. To have a piece of chocolate, all right, one piece of chocolate, moderation. But if I say, well, another piece won't hurt, a second piece, okay, desire has grown a little bit more, it's been watered. Well, a third piece for good luck, 3 pieces of chocolate. Okay, do you understand? So the desire grows and grows, and then we think we need the chocolate to have pleasant feelings. But not really. So we want to say we bring our mindfulness to the experience of pleasant feelings based on consumption. Okay? But there are many ways of consuming. We consume with our eyes, our ears, etc. So, mindfulness is there, it's sort of a protection so that the pleasant feeling doesn't be absolutely necessary all the time without fail. Okay. And so with my mindfulness, I say, I'm aware of a pleasant feeling. I'm aware of the chocolate or whatever it is that's giving you the pleasant feeling. Breathing out. I know my mindfulness tells me I've had enough. And that's all. So this goes for anything that we consume. And I use a sentence now that is very, very helpful to me. I say to myself, I don't want to hurt myself. Okay? And if I keep that as my mantra, I don't want to hurt myself, then my mindfulness is there as the protector. Mindfulness says, okay, you don't want to hurt yourself, stop now. So we know the mindfulness trainings are guidelines that help us not hurt ourselves, help us keep us going in a good direction to create more happiness and pleasant feelings. This afternoon there will be a match, Asian World Cup, football, and the countries are Vietnam and Japan. And we know at the end of the match there will be some pleasant feelings shared by one team. We don't know which team, but there will be pleasant feelings. There will also be unpleasant feelings, and that will be for the team that doesn't win. I imagine there will be unpleasant feelings, but an ability to accept. Yeah. So we know that there are also unpleasant feelings that occur, and accepting them is important. Do you know, when I breathe in the cool morning air, the cold morning air, it's -1, and I'm breathing it in, it's unpleasant, yeah, a little bit. But my nose accepts it. My nose doesn't say, go away, cold air, I don't want you. My nose accepts the cold air, and I do too. So, unpleasant feelings can have their root in our body. There's something maybe not balanced in our physiology, and we can have an unpleasant feeling, a headache, for example, or a toothache. An unpleasant feeling can have its source not only within the body and the physiology, but unpleasant feeling can come from a physical event. Let's say you hurt your thumb while trying to hammer a nail into wood. So you hit your thumb, and that was a physical event. The hammer and the nail were not part of your body's physiology, but it contributed to an unpleasant feeling. A third source of unpleasant feeling would be from our mind, a psychological event. So you hear some sad news, or you see something and you feel very sad on seeing it. So something has watered the seed in our consciousness. The depths of our consciousness are alaya, and this seed will manifest, and we will experience what we would call maybe an emotion. Okay, a separation, an argument, a disappointment, losing the credit card, things like that, and we will have an emotional response. So unpleasant feelings can have three sources, but also pleasant feelings can have three sources. From our body, our mind, and then the world around us. So, what do I do when an unpleasant feeling arises? Breathing in, using my mindfulness practice, I'm aware of this feeling. Breathing out, I experience this feeling as unpleasant, but no judgment, okay? Unpleasant. Breathing in, I embrace and I stay with this unpleasant feeling. Breathing out, I know I am taking care of this unpleasant feeling. One morning, not too long ago, I had unpleasant feelings. And I realized that the source was my body, my physiology. Everything seemed too loud, much too loud. But that's very unusual. Usually everything is too soft. But this morning, everything was too loud. In the meditation hall, the chanting was beautiful, absolutely inspiring. The melody, the words, everything was beautiful. However, my ears heard it too loud. So I had to protect my ears, and I hope that no one saw that. We do that when the jets fly over, the Army, Air Force. They go over grand speed with a great big sound, and I do that. And then after breakfast, in our quarters, everyone was talking, sharing, just normal hello and daily talk before the gathering. It's too loud. Again, too loud. And instead of trying to correct it, which may be a habit, we have contact, attention, a feeling, perception, and then a volition to do something about it. A tendency to say, oh, could you turn down the volume, etc.? No. I decided I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to add anything to anyone else's mind, their mental state. We never know when we speak how the words will be received. Yeah. So I was silent through all of this too loud experience. So I said to myself, I'm having an unpleasant feeling now. I was overwhelmed with unpleasant feelings, strange, but okay, unpleasant feeling. And then the next most important sentence I said to myself was, I'm going to transform this feeling into a pleasant feeling. I'm going to transform it. Because I remember Tai said we can transform an unpleasant feeling into a pleasant feeling by mindful breathing. So I sat down, and I just sat there, I relaxed, and I practiced breathing in and out. And I relaxed. And it worked. It really worked. So that's how I handled unpleasant feeling that was continuing. And when I was able to relax, calm myself, I was able to see clearly why it came up. It had to do with my physiology, my body, my nervous system. I did not have enough sleep, and because of that, I thought, oh, a nice cup of green tea might help me early this morning. So I had a little cup of green tea, but it was at the same time that my body is producing cortisol. We know that the body produces cortisol, which activates the whole body, the adrenal glands. It's a stress hormone, cortisol, but it's necessary to get the body moving in certain situations. However, I drank the tea at the same time, and the green tea releases cortisol also. So I had a double dose of cortisol. And the cortisol will act on the adrenal glands and secrete adrenaline. And that can affect the double dose of adrenaline, and everything was too loud. So now there are better times to drink green tea after the cortisol level in the body goes down. If your body is sensitive. Maybe the young ones, it's fine anytime, green tea. But at a certain age, we know it's better to drink tea and coffee after 9:30 in the morning. I'll give you the times. Scientists have found it between 9:30 and 11:30. Cortisol level is low, 1:30 to 5:30. Okay, time for coffee and tea. And this is research, actually. They have done research, and it was posted by someone who has her I guess her webpage is I Love Coffee. But she found the better time to drink the coffee during coffee break, really, and that's between 9:30 and 11:30. But anyway, let us have a pause, and we'll listen to a sound of the bell. And it's after 9:30, so I can enjoy a little taste of green tea. On Sunday, we had a wonderful Dharma talk that described the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Noble Path. And I would like to review that a little bit in terms of unpleasant feelings. Because unpleasant feelings are not necessarily suffering. It depends on the depth of the unpleasant feeling or the strength of it. It can simply be unpleasant feeling, okay, it will change. Or it can be something that is with us from childhood even. From our wounded child, if we experienced a lot of suffering as a child growing up with abuse or unhappy family life, unhappy experience in the home. So unpleasant feelings have their history. Could be caused just a few moments ago, or the roots can be much further back in our lives. So I would like to have us look at that again, the Four Noble Truths, in terms of pleasant feelings. So that will be, I recognize the presence of an unpleasant feeling. I recognize that the unpleasant feeling has its source, its roots. In the past, in the three domains that I mentioned, my physiology, a physical event, my mind. But we know there are some practices we can do to transform unpleasant feelings. And with the practices, we will restore the pleasant feeling. So we have the Noble Eightfold Path, which is right view, right thinking, right speech, right action. For the feelings, we don't have to go through all of the 8 practices of the Eightfold Path. But one important thing to remember is that when we have an unpleasant feeling, sometimes our thinking about the feeling may make it worse. Okay, we add commentary. You may know the example of the arrow. The Buddha gave this example. An arrow is shot and a man is hit by an arrow. Of course he has pain. He has an unpleasant feeling, physical unpleasant feeling. But for the man to stop and say, wait, don't take out the arrow yet. I want to know who shot it, where he came from, why did he do it? No. This kind of additional thinking is not necessary. Take out the arrow, take care of the wound, okay? So, with unpleasant feelings, sometimes we add a lot of thinking and questioning when we first recognize the unpleasant feeling. So we don't have to do that. The Buddha said, if a second arrow comes and hits the man in the same place, the pain will be 10 times, 100 times greater. So our response to illness or bad news is made much heavier by our added thinking about it. Our worries, our anxiety, everything that we add just to the event. There is an illness, okay, the illness is there, we'll take care of it. Take care of my diet, my exercise, everything. So when there's an unpleasant feeling, if we continue to think about it, and he did this, she did that, why did it happen, why didn't it happen, etc., that won't help. It's like the second arrow. So what we want to do is simply practice with an unpleasant feeling. Calm it, relax the unpleasant feeling. So let's have a look now at what I mentioned. We'll have a look at the Four Noble Truths just in terms of feelings, not suffering as such, and then see that we can restore pleasant feelings. It's always a little bit of a challenge dismounting from the podium. Do I stand up and walk down the stairs, or do I just step down? I prefer to just step down. These orchids are beautiful. They're really very lovely. Every moment is a moment for a pleasant feeling. Even as I have the unpleasant task of dismounting, but it's been done. Thank you. Unpleasant feeling. So that's taking the place of the presence of suffering, okay? Cause of my unpleasant feeling. Causes. And that's causes of suffering, the second noble truth. practices to do with unpleasant feeling? What are the practices I can do when I have an unpleasant feeling? Practices to transform the unpleasant feeling. We know one is stopping, just stopping for a minute, taking a pause, stopping, pause. Come back to ourself with mindful breathing. If our whole body can be involved with transforming the energy of an unpleasant feeling, that sometimes works better, at least for me. So I enjoy walking. I enjoy walking meditation or walking. You can enjoy jogging, running, or other body movement, walking. Okay, looking deeply into the causes. So you have clarity. Clarity, how this has come to be. And we know the causation, the Buddha said, this is like this because that is like that. There's an interdependent causing. Many events come together to create an event or something. It's interdependent origination, looking into the many causes. We do not have to know the causes to change the unpleasant feeling into a pleasant feeling right away. We don't have to know the causes right away. We can relax, calm our mind, and when the mind is calm, we will see more clearly. We will have the better conditions for understanding. We have learned that when our mind is agitated, when we're very worried or upset or angry, when there's a lot of mental disruption, so to speak, then the understanding cannot manifest. It's as if the waves on the ocean are too big. There's too much happening. And we simply cannot access the deeper wisdom and understanding of why this has happened. So the calming of the mind makes the water clear and we can see, we can understand better. Okay, so I'm listing some practices to transform the unpleasant feeling. Don't think about the situation, the person, the event. Don't do the thinking while changing the feeling, okay? Don't think at that moment. Just breathe, just walk. Just listen to music. So I will add that because music is also a very wonderful healing element that is available. It's not something the monastics can do all the time right away, but we chant. That's also healing, the chanting, the singing. But for all of you who have other conditions, music can be very soothing and healing an unpleasant feeling. And I say this from my experience, so I'm not making it up. So, for me, it's Mozart, Mozart piano concerto. For you, it may be others, or other kinds of music. So, many more practices to transform unpleasant feeling. Please be attentive now, because sometimes when we have an unpleasant feeling, we want to consume. We want to drink something. We want to eat something. Thai says we go to the refrigerator, we look. Is there something that will help me now feel better? So the fifth mindfulness training will help us to not consume when we have unpleasant feelings. We do other things. Talk to a friend, or go outside, and be in touch with what is refreshing and healing in the present moment. So for an unpleasant feeling, to transform it, the country where we do that is the present moment. We don't go to the past to transform our unpleasant feeling. We stay here and now. So, present moment. Bring yourself out of the past, out of the shadows of the past, with everything that contributes to your unpleasant feeling now. Come back to what is nourishing and healing in the present moment. Let's have a pause and to just bring ourselves to the present moment now with our mindful breathing. When we're feeling better, the unpleasant feeling is no longer there, then we have the restoration of the pleasant feeling. So this, in terms of the Four Noble Truths, is happiness is possible. So I ask the forgiveness of the Buddha for taking his Four Noble Truths and sort of making a re-edition, a little bit of a renewal. But I felt it helped me a lot when I was thinking about how to present unpleasant feelings with the good news that they can be transformed into pleasant feelings. Sometimes we're in an environment where there's a lot of unpleasant feelings. Could be at work, or when we visit home, some other places. It seems as if that everyone, or almost everyone, has unpleasant feelings, and the atmosphere is quite heavy. And in fact, burnout could be the non-stop experiencing of unpleasant feelings. We just don't know how to stop all of that. The stress, the demands. We're living in a high-octane culture, meaning we need to have efficiency, do many things at once, no mistake, on time, high-octane living. So for that to help with burnout or just too many unpleasant feelings in me and around me, we need to make a pause by recognizing and then saying, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do the practices of mindful breathing, body movements, yoga, tai chi, qigong, anything to help move this energy that is unpleasant. Pay careful attention to my diet, to eat, they're recommending now more plant and vegetable sources for healthy body, and well, you know what you will need to change. We have a new year arriving, we have two new years, we have a second chance. The New Year resolution we made 24 days ago, and we're not doing so well in keeping them. Well, we can revise the list and maybe make a shorter list, 2 things, and then continue for the rest of the year. So I just have maybe a few more things to share with you this morning, and that is, I want to talk about how do we create pleasant feelings. So can I erase this, or I leave it? It's all right. I was very happy to discover that pleasant feelings are very easy to create in a practice center. We have the practices of communication beginning anew, where we say kind things to one another. We appreciate others' presence in our life. We say thank you for being here. Thank you for your smile. When I see you making the cup of tea, I feel warm inside. So by using loving speech, we create pleasant feelings in ourselves first and in the other person. We have gratitude. We have gratitude to all of you, our guests, and this is the truth. Without your presence, Plum Village could not be. So we have appreciation and gratitude to all of our retreatants, our lay friends, and to our monastic brothers and sisters for making the retreats possible for you to come. So pleasant feelings are easy to create here. We also have the possibility of creating a pleasant feeling after there's been an unpleasant feeling. So we've done something out of a mistake, we made a mistake, or we just didn't know enough, ignorance, and we see that, well, it created some unpleasant feeling in someone. So in our practice, we can go up and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the mistake I made. I feel very bad about it. So just being able to say that can open up the heart, can clear the slate, turn a new page by saying, I'm sorry. So it's good for relationships. We can create pleasant feelings again if we say we're sorry. Sometimes that never happens. She never said she was sorry. He never said he was sorry. How can I forgive? You know, so it's an important step, and it will create pleasant feelings. We have the be-in, and that's where we all get together and we sing, we share experiences, our happiness meeting we call it. Just being together creates pleasant feelings. The 5 mindfulness trainings, or our monastic precepts, actually protect the happiness feelings. They create pleasant feelings when we practice the 5 mindfulness trainings. Because we know each training begins with aware of the suffering caused. We could think, aware of the unpleasant feeling caused by doing this, saying that. So there's sort of a continuum from unpleasant to suffering. Okay? Listening to Thai's Dharma talks, the DVD, pleasant feelings. I'm always very grateful and I'm very nourished when I hear Thai's Dharma talks. Pleasant feeling. All of Thai's, almost a few hundred of Thai's Dharma talks are available on YouTube. So you have a resource when you go back to listen and continue your learning of mindfulness practice from Thai. And that's a pleasant feeling to hear Thai's Dharma talks. Lazy day. Is that a day when we have pleasant feelings? If you think the schedule is too much, we get up too early, etc., lazy day is when we don't have that, and it's a pleasant feeling. Just having free time to do as you wish, to rest, to relax, to sleep more, to do more sitting meditation. So Thai has said that our practice should be enjoyable. We should not make ourselves suffer. Our practice is not to give ourselves unpleasant feelings. It's not the purpose of practicing. It's to cultivate happiness, pleasant feelings, understanding, love, peace, well-being, compassion. And this is possible with our practice of mindfulness. So there are many resources for creating pleasant feelings. You can seek and find these resources to our lay friends when you return. Find a sangha, find a group that practices mindfulness. It could be even your church, your synagogue, your temple, but where you know that the pleasant feelings are to be found there, or at least people who are practicing with unpleasant feelings, suffering, but who have the motivation and the wish to transform them. There are just 2 more things I want to share with you before we end. We have heard the 4 words calm, clarity, compassion, and courage. I'll write them on the board. These are wonderful qualities that we develop as we continue our practice. We'll take a minute or 2 to have a look. These are 4 of my favorite words for practice. Calm. I become more calm with my mindfulness practice, stopping, mindful breathing, eating calmly, tasting the food, listening, nourishing my happiness feelings. I can become calmer. I don't water the unpleasant feelings. I don't think unpleasant thoughts. I become more calm. When I'm more calm, I have more clarity. And that means I can see more clearly. I can see more clearly what I'm doing. I see more clearly what is my lifestyle. Is it contributing to my pleasant feelings. I have clarity to understand others, to understand their deepest aspirations, to understand their difficulties, and I have more clarity to know what to do and what not to do. So with calmness, I'm able to just be calm. Sometimes we don't have to do too much, but calmness is already enough to give support, a deep listening, just being there. So clarity helps us know when we should act and when we should stay calm but present. Clarity into the sources of happiness and suffering. So when we go home, we can make a list. What are the sources of pleasant feelings in my life now? What are the sources of unpleasant feelings in my life now? And where do I experience them? What percentage of the time do I have pleasant feelings in each place, each situation? What percentage of the time do I have unpleasant feelings? In which place and in which situation and with what people? But we're not going to blame or judge. Okay, we're just using bare attention. Okay, when I have this more clarity, which is understanding, and naturally more compassion arises in me. I understand we all have needs, yes? And sometimes there's suffering in another person because their needs are not being met. Sometimes I suffer because my needs are not being met. And what are our needs? The basic needs are food, shelter, clothing. For the monastics in the Buddhist time, they added medicines, but the medicines were plant-based. They didn't have pharmaceuticals, but we're grateful for the pharmaceuticals that are available for some illnesses, of course. Food, shelter, clothing, medicine, love. We all need love. Babies need to be held. We need to feel loved, and we also need to love others. We need love and play. I think that's a need, amusement. We know on lazy days, when we have 10 lazy days, what do the monastics do? Some of them play. Others will go to a room and look inside and understand, do more sitting, etc., but play. For some people is a healthy need. So, compassion, and that means I want to relieve the suffering, do everything I can to be present for myself and others with understanding and not judging, not blaming. Okay, and then will lead to courage. Is this the kind of courage where I go out and start fighting? No, it's not that. It's the courage to continue, to go through the difficult moments, to change my lifestyle if necessary, to change my way of eating, courage to add more things into my life. So it's the courage to look deeply and then to carry on in a beautiful way, supported by the mindfulness trainings and our daily practice of all the other steps, calming, clarity, understanding, and compassion, then I have enough information to be courageous. And sometimes the most courageous thing is to stay and to continue, to not cause suffering. Continue the relationship, or if necessary, what needs to happen is that you separate. No one has the perfect answer or the right answer, but we have the courage to try many possibilities. New work, new lifestyle, new friends. You find new friends in the practice center. We have new friends in our Sangha. The courage just to see, all right, let me try something. Let us try something. The courage to be in community. That takes courage to change a lifestyle, to live with others. So we've had some sharing this morning, and I'm going to be very courageous now. I didn't dare share this, but I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to share a favorite song, but I'm not going to sing it because I can't sing it. But what is courageous is I'm going to tell you to go online. And a Dharma talk should never tell people to go online. You know, for monastics, we can't do that often. I'm going to tell you, go online. And I'm going to mention two singers. One is a Vietnamese, a very popular singer who Thai appreciated very much. And he knew Thai and appreciated Thai very much. He was Trung Kong Song. And he, I'll write his name on the board. Okay. Okay, I don't, yeah, okay. So I will write his name on the board. He wrote a song that we sing here. And it's every day I choose a happiness to live by. Một ngày làm một ngày vui, mỗi ngày chọn một niềm vui. That's it. Một ngày chọn một niềm vui. That means every day I choose a happiness to live by. And that means every day I choose to create a pleasant feeling, yes? And Thai has even selected one of his poems or the lyric from one of his verses and has used that to teach on the eve of Tet. So he's a very important songwriter in Vietnam who I believe has passed away now, but very important. Another important song that I knew about many years ago in the 70s, and it was called I Can See Clearly Now, The Rain Is Gone. And it was written by Johnny Nash, but sung by Jimmy Cliff. We know him as a reggae musician from Jamaica. And it's a very beautiful song. It's a song that describes getting through with a positive attitude, experiencing unpleasant feelings, but getting through. So you can go online and hear it, and I listened, and I thought, oh, can I play it for everybody? But I didn't have the technology, and I don't think that would be acceptable to play this in a Dharma talk, but you have the option. And the words are, I can tell you the words, because they're very beautiful. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Clarity. I can see all obstacles in my way. Causes of unpleasant feeling. These were obstacles. Gone are the dark clouds that made me blind. I just didn't know. Thay has said the rain, all of the tears I have shed have become rain. It's one of Thay's calligraphy. All of the tears I have shed from sadness, from his experience in the war, of course, have become rain. Gone are those dark clouds. It's going to be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's going to be better. Oh yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Well, we know how to make those bad feelings, unpleasant feelings disappear. Here is the rainbow I've been waiting for. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. When we see a rainbow here, oh, it's an event. We all go outside and we're happy. We jump up and down. Also in the summer, when the hot air balloons pass over slowly, they have the rainbow colors. So we see the rainbow balloons and we're happy. Okay. And then look up, look straight ahead, look around you. There's nothing but blue sky. And so the song has that. So it's going to be a bright, bright, sunny day, a bright, sunny future for all of us. So we stay with it and we continue with our practice, and everything will be wonderful. There will be unpleasant feelings, certainly, but we don't have to be a victim of our unpleasant feelings, and that's the good news. So I want to find a very wonderful sentence from Thay as the final sharing right now. And he has said that, first of all, there's a gatha Thay gave us, a little poem. When we have feelings, we say, feelings come and go as clouds in a windy sky, but mindful breathing is my anchor. Mindful breathing will keep me in the safe little cove away from the stormy waves. It's my anchor for peace and protection when feelings arise like storm. We come back to ourselves and do belly breathing, calming our whole body. Breathe from your belly. So Thay has said, a meditator is both an artist and a warrior, and that's courage. We need the creativity of an artist and the courage to cut through what is holding us back from being happy or free. And the first Zen teacher in Vietnam and China was Zen Master Thang Hoi. And he said, letting go is the action of heroes. So we want to continue with our mindfulness practice. Let go of the unpleasant feeling by transforming them. Don't hold on. Transforming them with mindful breathing, mindful walking. And then every day can be a sunshiny day, or at least part of the day can be sunshiny. So thank you, dear friends, for listening. And let us hear 3 sounds of the bell now to end our time together. And then there will be some announcements.